Well, good afternoon, you crazy metalheads and you crazy rockers in this crazy world, as I keep on telling you. I'm Eldon, as you should know by now. I'm the host with Underground Noise WEBZINE. This is webisode number 119. I would highly suggest and encourage that you guys subscribe to my channel because I'm always looking for more subscribers. And as promised, once I get up to 700, I'm going live. So hit me up, you guys. I need it. I need all the support I can get. And same with this band, The Color of Cyan. Welcome, Edu. You're my newest guest.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Pleasure.
You're welcome. Happy to have you on the show. The first question I would like to ask you, Edu, is who came up with the band name The Color of Cyan? And why did you choose that name?
Yeah. No, it's well, actually the first iteration of the band was called Cyan, just Cyan. And that was probably like that was in 2000 or 2001. And but then as we kept at that time we kept playing, we recorded a little bit, we kept playing around uh uh in Puerto Rico. That's where the band started actually. And at one point we noticed that there was another band called Cyan, just Cyan. And I was like, oh man, you know, if I started like pushing, making this band what I wanted to be, a little, more bigger, more serious music, getting the music everywhere in the world, should I just uh, keep it as Cyan only, or just bring it kind of like fully expressing what the emotions of blue will give us, and that's probably where the actual name of the band started from. Is like we feel like the music that we create, it's it's very flowy, like water in a way. We never repeat ourselves, and if you kind of like pay close attention to the structure of our music, it's always there's always changing, and that's why we see it. We see it as it's almost like waves. You know, sometimes nothing is always the same as before. There's always something new, either new instruments or new parts, or the 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 the, the bed of the music. It's the same, but then some violins comes in. So it's all about that flowiness, that organic themes of water, and also the color blue, what it means in terms of uh, of emotional impact, like a little bit more sentimental, let's say, a little bit more introspective.
I noticed that you guys are mostly an instrumental band. Is there a reason why you don't have vocals?
Well, it started. We had vocals for quite a few years, but then when we stopped playing we stopped playing for 5 to 8 years. When I just kept moving from state to state. So I was, I moved from New York to San Francisco to Chicago. So at that time, for me, it was really impossible to continue with the project. But when COVID happened, I was like, oh my God. So let me let me just grab a guitar again and kind of like listen to all this music that we had written. And I just got hooked so quickly, into it, right? And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna call everyone again and say, hey, let's bring this now. This is the perfect time to bring all this together. And I had my drummer and was in different. They're all in different parts of the world. My drummer was in Puerto Rico. My bass player was in L.A. My violin player was in Mexico. So I just call them, all of them, and say, I'm gonna start sending you music so you can record where you at, send it back to me, and we'll just create a record. uh, and also, I'm highly influenced by a lot of different styles of music, but at that time, I was listening to a lot of mono, and I was listening to a lot of Russian circles, and I was listening to a lot of instrumental bands. And the singer, she is in Berlin, in Germany. So it was a little bit more harder to bring her in back again into the project. And also, I feel the music evolved in a different way. So I was like, you know what? Actually, let's just make it instrumental. and because a lot of my favorite bands are instrumental, I was like, why not? And that's how we decided to just go that way. And it's funny, nowadays, like I would say 80% of the music I listen to, it's instrumental, from classical music to jazz to metal. Like I listen to a lot of metal and 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 death metal, like because of the instrumental parts I love from them. So
That's really cool because I was listening to your latest album called Egressus, a few days ago, and I was jamming on the first track called Sun Wounds, and that one stuck out to be my all-time favorite from your guys' latest release. Was there a
thank you.
song that was your favorite off the album?
Oh boy, that's it's my favorite. I don't know if I love that song,
Yeah,
and playing that one live, it's always like whenever I play that one live, I love it because it ends with such a climatic moment, and this you listen, you know what I'm talking about. It's with all this noise and this wall of noise, with all this layers, which I love playing live. I love that song, to be honest. It's definitely one of my favorites. uh, I don't know which one is my favorite from the album, if I'm totally honest. I love it when autumn. I like a lot of them for different reasons. I don't have kids, but I every time I hear parents talking about kids, that you know they love them because of different issues, but
yeah, that's
can
understandable.
decide, or they don't want to tell anyone who they love best.
Yeah, the closest thing to a kid that I've got is my cat, but
Same. I have cat.
cats are metal, I guess. Give them some horns.
Yeah, exactly. I got a black cat. So I'm a stepfather to it. It's really my girlfriend's, but yeah,
Yeah, I got a snowshoe Siamese. He's half Siamese, half Himalayan. So yeah,
very cool.
I love Siamese cats. Their poop smells so terrible it could take out an army. Especially my cat. My cat,
I hear you.
he's like no one's business. I'm like, dude, what the hell's your problem, Frostburger?
Need to change the diet.
But back
For
to the
sure.
climatic ending, when I was listening to that, like I was telling you, uh, for some reason it sounded a little bit like Pink Floyd in some spots, but then also sounded like the band Phlebotomized during their Sky Contact years. Do you remember the band Phlebotomized?
No, I haven't. I know, of course, I know Pink Floyd, but I don't. I need to check it out. I'll check it out.
Yeah,
Why
check
not?
out the album called Sky Contact because there's
Okay.
some parts in there that sound kind of atmospheric in a way. So it's
Okay.
like, wow, I'm drifting off into another land, or I'm swimming in water, or I'm just walking on a beach, just mind my own business, trying to collect sand dollars.
I love that. I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah, I've got a pretty vivid imagination when I listen to your music. It just put me into so many different dimensions. Like just can't stay in one. You transfer from here and then you teleport to somewhere else, and you're like, how the hell did they do that? You guys have a lot of different time signatures too.
Yeah, for sure. And all that is on purpose. I mean, I'm a constant editor. Like I re-edit and re-edit, and I keep, even when I record, the drums and the bass are like fully recorded, and but I just keep changing things as I retrack my guitars. I'm like, oh wait, no, I'm gonna actually change this part, even after it's the drummer already did the whole thing, because it's again is that constant change, which I love that you have that that vision, those visuals, those moments, movie structure and screenplays are written. You have these arcs. So that's the way I think about albums.
And it's very fitting because it's got its own little flow to it. You know what I mean? Because some bands are just like super fast, and then there's bands that are super technical, but not you guys. You guys like to keep it really simple, straight to the point. And I've noticed that, a lot of musicians are like that. But what, how do you sustain your energy, like while you're on stage or if you're off stage?
It's tension. That's what we play with. We play with tension. We play with holding until in the music kind of like explodes, in a way. And I try to make sure that in a live set we have 2 or 3 points of tension. It depends on how much time we have, because of course we're talking with the bands and with the members and then we were like, we're gonna play a 30-minute show in the next month, I think. And a 30-minute show means 3 songs from us, because our songs are usually pretty long. But inside those songs, you still have those arcs. So as long as you keep that tension, and that's what I believe, and maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think people find interesting from us. Is that you have this tension that it's a little captivating, a little bit enticing, until this whole thing explodes and into that revelation.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's got a really good calming effect to it, because that's the take that I had on it. I was listening to it and it's like, wow, this music is so calm, and then it just goes boom out of nowhere. Like, what happened? Because
Mm-hmm.
1 minute can be all delicate and light and lovey-dovey or whatever, and next thing you know, it's just like in your face.
Yeah. I love that. And I love to hear that too. So there's some very high technical things that happens here and there from different band members at different points. You can have the drummer who, he tours the world playing all sorts of music. To be honest, it's not our own project, but he works with other artists and tours and he's like a really high end like jazz drummer. So sometimes you can listen to those beats of jazz and into very specific moments, but in other songs then you have the bass player doing his thing. And there's some specific songs that where he's like just I have I have rearranged my guitar tracks because of his technical moments. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave you. It's like in basketball, someone has the ball. So I thought, you have the ball. I'll step back. I'll leave you. I let you this space for you to breathe and do your technical stuff at this point, because then I'll just come in and don't want to change that.
What brand guitar do you like to use while you write? You like high?
Brand?
What kind?
You said brand?
Oh yeah, what brand guitar do you like to use?
I have 3. Mainly play with 2 of them, but I do have I have the Fender. My main guitar is the Strat. I I I made it. I picked the wood, I picked the color, I picked the whole thing. Um, I I uh, I put some lower pickups on it. I just I love that guitar. It just fits so well uh, to the style I play, because I even with my picking, I can go really calm and really slow, and then just hit really hard, and then the whole thing booms. And so uh, that Strat is probably my main one, in which I record most of my 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 parts. The second one I have a Telecaster. Another one that I love is the Telecaster. It's so simple, and I do have a Les Paul as well, which just bring all this grit. And I love just intertwining both of them. When in probably in all the records, you'll hear both doing different parts. Sometimes they do completely different things in the same moment. And that's something that we do a lot. Like the one guitar has something like he's doing a melody, and the other guitar is doing a different melody. So,
You have one of those guitars nearby?
say it again.
You have one of those guitars nearby?
I don't have them with me. No.
Okay, because I was going to say this is the next segment that we call "Show Me Your Axe."
Oh man, I shouldn't know. So sorry.
That's
Uh,
okay. I wish David had told you ahead of time, but big shout out to David for helping with this interview.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Thanks,
David
David.
Lito from the Metal List. What a great guy.
He's doing such a great job. I really, really enjoy working with him. He's been always on it. So, and I look that from especially from that type of work that he does, like in the PR department. So
Yeah,
he's doing a great job.
yeah, because I reached out to him one day and I was like, hey, you got some smaller bands that I could interview or something? He's like, really, you want to help me out? I said, yeah, I'll definitely throw down, man. I got my own show on YouTube, so might as well do it.
Yeah, for sure. He's doing a great job, and he has worked with other people that I really admire as well. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, I helped out one of the bands that he was talking about me interviewing one time called Damage and Co. And they came from the country of Malta. I'm not sure if you're familiar with those guys, but they're incredible, man.
Yeah, let me write it down. I'll
Yeah,
check it out.
I got a huge list of bands that I've helped out, with him, like Paracrona, Damage and Co., Skullforge,
Hmm.
Dismind, just to name a few. Some of them are death metal and some are just like modern rock, but then there's some bands that they just got their own unique sound. And you wonder sometimes, how do you find that sound to be your own?
For Cyan, the so that is something I've been always I worked so hard on, like I could spend a whole day, and I'm not kidding. It's almost sick. I'm a little uh anyways. I could spend hours and like a whole day just swapping pedals and changing things, and push moving pedals around, or just with just trying a little bit more on the more drive here or less reverb there, and until my signal is something that I really love, and I feel that it's a little more unique to what I'm used to, and what that's how the sound of Cyan really started. It's just I went through, and every time I see something new, I want to try and see if it fits into my language of playing, and my language and the language of the band. Um, but finding that sound, I need a little bit of clarity, and then I need this huge wall of sounds when and for in order to get those moments. I mean, my pedal board right now has like 4 different reverbs and different moments, different points in the signal. Uh, I always, and this is probably one of the things that it's more unique to our sound. I know bands that do it. We're not the only ones, but I know there are bands that do it. But not every. It's not normal that you have like one reverb right in the beginning of the chain, and that affects the whole thing, for example, and and that affects the drives and the distortion and all that stuff. So I play with that kind of stuff to build the tone and to build the sound of Cyan, the Color of Cyan. The the way I write my music, I write a lot of guitar parts as if they were cellos, for example, and sometimes I even write the music, a lot of guitar parts in a keyboard. So I am like playing things in chords and finding the dissonance and finding those weird notes that just give me a little bit, that pull me in with that tension I was talking about before, and and then I take that and I translate that into guitar, and if it works, perfect. If it doesn't work, I'll change it. But that's kind of like some of the things I do in my process of creating our sound.
Absolutely. It takes a lot of feeling, it takes a lot of talent, and sometimes it takes a little stupidity from some people, But sometimes people are like, why would you throw that in there? And I said, because you got to be stupid for doing it for a long time.
Exactly.
It's funny because I saw that mentioned in a video by Skinless off of their DVD called Skin Flick. This one guy says it takes a lot of stupidity to be doing it for this long. I mean, Could you imagine being like the band Vader, who's been doing it for 40 years now?
Like it's for us, feel part of the music. You need to feel like you agree with those notes and you agree with those compositions, and as long as you're happy, then you can give it out to the world. But it's really up to us first. We have to be a little selfish. So stupidity is a great way to put it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting just because there's so much music out there, and I've always told people there's never enough music. What band or what bands would you say are iconic to you nowadays?
Oh, which style?
Uh, I'm gonna go with thrash metal or death metal.
Oh, death metal. I mean, I'm a big fan of At the Gates. I just every time I can catch them live, I watch. I go and I've been a forever, and I At the Gates or I mean the band Death, which it doesn't he passed away a long time ago. But I'm since I was in middle school, I've been a fan of Death, and they have this melodic part of things, of the way they write. Um, I love Amorphis. I mean, there's so many bands.
How about Cannibal Corpse? They're
But
still albums.
what's that?
How about Cannibal Corpse? They're still making albums too.
Cannibal Corpse. I used to, yeah. They're like I really like a couple of their albums for sure. And some of the some of the old stuff. I need to check what they're doing nowadays. To be honest, I don't know. I haven't heard what where they are now. So I need to catch up on that end.
Yeah, they have a new album coming out soon, and I'm gonna catch them in October with Gore Guts, Mayhem, and Blood Incantation.
Exactly. Oh yeah, I know. I saw the tour. Yeah, it came out. But I'm from post rock. I mean, dude, there's so many amazing bands in the States. Post rock, post metal. Russian Circles from Chicago. I think they're like amazing. Just a three piece. I don't know if you heard of them, but it's a three piece post metal band here, and their sound is so big and thick, and they're just three people up there on stage. And every time I see them live, it's just like feels that space, so big. So Russian Circles. I mean, uh, um, a lot. I just went to a festival in Indianapolis called Post. A lot of amazing bands play there. Lucida Dark and many others. So like it was such a treat to see them all. There's this band called SOM, which I love too. I mean, it's amazing.
You were talking about your band members being spread out all over the world, right? I can actually kind of relate to that because my bandmate, he lives in the state of Colorado, and he handles the bass and the drums and some of the vocals, but he also does some of the guitar work, and he's doing all the mixing and the mastering. We're called Nightmare Crypt.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, we
How
don't
do
really have
you?
anything online just yet. I mean, we do have an intro on Bandcamp that I wrote using BandLab. And I'll tell you, BandLab is such an amazing thing on the internet because you can use a synthesizer, you can use your voice. But the only problem that I'm having is doing multi-tracking. So I said to him, I'm going to leave the multi-tracking to you, sir. So he says to me, okay, buddy, I got it. I got you, bro. I said, okay, good enough. So we're in the process of making a demo. And after that, we're going to make an album as well.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'll check it out for sure. When
Yeah, there'll be 4 songs on the demo. One song won't be on the full length, maybe on a later album, if that. But if anybody wants to know what those songs are, Affirmative Assassination, Beyond the Void of Destruction, Crushing Corruption, and the song called These Eyes. And
very
someone
cool.
said, why don't you call it D's Eyes with the letter D? I said, no, that's for the song Disconnected. Kind of doing like a Morbid Angel type theme, going through the alphabet. But it's
Yeah,
nothing like Morbid
yeah, yeah.
Angel. It's weird because people are like, well, what does your music sound like? I'm like, well, it's a combination of thrash metal, death metal, black metal, atmospheric, groove, slam, and a little bit of everything, hardcore and grindcore. So you got like maybe 8 or 10 different genres or subgenres of metal all into one.
Hmm.
So it switch
Hmm.
at any time with the vocal sound or the guitar sound. What tuning do you like to play in?
Yeah,
Personally, I play in drop C and I also play in D standard.
we play on E. That's it. Yeah, that's we don't change our guitars. We don't change the tuning for, and this is something I thought about when the beginning when we started like actually when the band started to play again together, and I was like, oh, well, the bass player has to now there's a guy who's joining us here because I have a in now in Chicago here we have a group together and that basically we practice every week. And the bass player here, he has two different basses. One of them is a different tune, but he uses that like in two or three songs only. But I don't change mine, so he needs to accommodate to the rest.
You know, it can be a little crazy sometimes when you're changing guitar strings, I'm sure. You know, you get poked in the finger a couple times and you're just like, okay, just keep going, wang that shit. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
there-
Yeah, but we never. I mean, I played in many other bands in the past, so yeah, and I did had like some different tunings for other bands specifically, but mine and right now the Color of Cyan just perfect E, and then we don't, sometimes, we because we work with a lot of cellos and violins and quartets and things like that, so it's for me specifically it's a little easier when it comes to mixing out all the instruments because I end up like I end up writing for all of them. Like I write a lot of the main compositions for the rest of the band, and then they take that and put their own spice and taste and take it to the next level.
Here's a question you probably don't hear very often, but how long did it take for you guys to complete this album?
So um I do work with them in such like in advance for a long time in advance. So this Egress took, I would say, almost 2 years. Uh, and now that Egress is going to be available September 1st, like this Friday. So uh, the I already recorded the drums for the third album. So imagine like I'm always working in such a because I like I mentioned in the beginning in this conversation I take so much time on rewriting and reworking and re-editing that I need that buffer. I need that time to just work on it, leave it. I don't want to, I don't listen to it for a month or two and then I go back to it. So yeah, I think each album takes pretty much like 2 years for us.
Yeah, you guys are definitely unique. You know, you stand out from a lot of
Thank you,
bands.
thank you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much.
I was just really surprised by it. Like I said, 1 second you're sounding like Pink Floyd, then you're sounding a little bit like Phlebotomized from the Sky Contact years. And I'm just like, oh, this is incredible. It's atmospheric, but it's wavy, like you were talking about, it comes in waves. So it's almost
Yeah.
like you're at the ocean and you're just laying on the beach, just watching the waves come across. And next thing you know, you see someone's floaty going by or something, or maybe a boot, maybe a sneaker or a fish jumps out of the water, you know, just all these
Love
cool
that. Yeah.
things to imagine about.
Yeah, yeah, and I think Egressus, this album, it's very layered. Like it has so many layers, and not just on the main core like instruments, but with the string quartet that we work with. Everyone is doing something, and a lot of times each one of us is doing something very different, but they're all in the same overarching chord. So it's interesting.
It's kind of like a loaded baked potato. You need to have the sour cream, the chives, and the bacon and the cheese, get all those layers so they add up.
Exactly, exactly.
Then layers of cheese on a pizza.
Hey, man, I'm up for it. I'm done with that for sure.
Hey, I don't know anybody that does not like pizza.
Exactly.
Unless they don't have any teeth, then it's like, okay, you got to put in your chewers, man. Get in those dentures. That's one way to chew on pizza, but still,
Exactly.
it'd be a pretty gummy situation if they didn't use them. It, part of like shit. You know what I mean?
uh, I don't need friends that don't like pizza for sure.
Yeah, friends don't let friends not like pizza. How about that for a new rule?
Yeah, exactly.
Throw that out there. Because if you're not eating pizza after the show and you're just drinking beer, hey man, you need something to stabilize yourself with, or just to keep your stomach full. Can't just be pounding beer after beer after beer because you're gonna be sluggish after a while. Then you're gonna fall down and you're gonna feel bad the next day and try to explain to yourself, how did I get this bruise? How did I get that scratch up there? Wasn't the cat. Well, maybe then the cat beat you up in your sleep.
Oh my god.
My
For sure.
cat told that to me once. I was waking up one day and I said to myself, I got a scratch on my head. And I look at my cat and he looks at me and goes, just
Right
smile
here.
at me. I'm just like, yeah, go ahead, buddy. Smile at me. You beat the shit out of me while I'm in sleep.
Yeah. No, it happens. I seen. I know how how they like to put the law down for sure.
Oh yeah. And sometimes they'll sleep on your face and they'll just wake you up by moving around or scratching your ear. And on top of that, it's like, whoa, don't get that eardrum. I need it.
For sure.
So, I've got only a few minutes left here with you today, but I'd like to tell you thanks for your time. I appreciate you being on my show.
Oh no, thank you, thank you. It's a pleasure. It's great chatting with you, and you know, hopefully, I'll check all the bands that you record for sure. So
Yeah, I'll send you some more as well because I got a huge list of different bands out there. What would you like to say to your fans that might be listening?
well, I mean, thank you for being part of this journey. Hopefully, take some time, take some time next Friday, September 1st, to check out the new album. It's gonna be a treat. It's very introspective, but we even though it's very personal, and I'm completely sure that everyone's gonna feel connected to it somehow in their own. So uh, thank you so much for being part of this journey.
That's very awesome. I'd like to say the same thing to people that have been watching this show for 3 years now. So, thanks to all my fans as well. My hat is literally off. But
Mhm.
you have any final words for Underground Noise Webzine, you?
No, I'll keep doing I love all this. I was checking all the interviews out. Keep pushing it. Keep everything alive.
Awesome. Are you subscribed?
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. I'm always looking for more subscribers. So if you know of anybody that wants to hit me up for like an interview or such, tell them check out Underground Noise Webzine on YouTube. I'm also on Facebook.com/Underground Noise 420.
All
So
right. Yeah, yeah. And I'll make sure that the band's account it's subscribe as well.
that'd be superb, man. But thanks
Awesome.
again for your time today. It's been awesome, dude.
Thank you so much.
Hey, you're welcome, dude. My
Have a good
pleasure.
day.
You too.